This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
Prof, what happens after a successful cycle and what is the follow-up process?
Okay. Yeah, it's a good question, and some clinics do it well, some clinics don't do it so well. Having got pregnant after IVF doesn't make the anxiety go away. One of my students did a whole project asking patients how they felt and compared them with patients who'd fallen pregnant spontaneously and how they felt during the first trimester, the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. And the anxiety levels were significantly higher in the women who'd been through IVF for obvious reasons. They've invested time, energy and emotion and still face the same risk of miscarriage as the general population, 1 in 6. I describe it as the roll of a dice. 1 in 6 is the roll of a dice. You throw the dice, you get a 6. Sadly, that's the miscarriage. Pick up the dice again. You could get a 6 next time, but you'd be unlucky. Most times, 5 of the 6 times, you'll have an ongoing pregnancy. But an IVF pregnancy is obviously more precious. Maybe people who wouldn't necessarily say that, but because of the time, effort and emotion and money that's been put into it, it is a highly stressful time to be going through week after week, wondering whether the pregnancy is going to continue. That initial joy is massive. Even I, when I call patients to tell them about the fact that it's been successful, even I have tears in my eyes at the joy that I hear down the phone. So carrying on from there, some clinics say, fine, good, you're pregnant, go back to your GP and then in 5 or 6 weeks' time and get him to refer you to the local hospital. That's not good enough. What we do and what I do particularly is to initially follow up the hormone levels in those first week or so after the positive pregnancy test to make sure they're heading in the right direction. Those patients who are pregnant should have a pregnancy hormone level, the HCG, double every 2 days. So if it comes back on the first day as 100, it should be 200 2 days later, 400 2 days after that, and so on. Should it not follow that pattern, we've got to start being concerned. Assuming the levels keep going up, then what we do is organise a scan at around 6.5 to 7 weeks. By that stage, we should be able to see an embryo inside the pregnancy sac, and in 95% of cases at 6.5 weeks, we'll see a heartbeat with a viable pregnancy. Occasionally, they have to come back a week later to find that fetal heart, but that's very uncommon. Mostly, a heartbeat is good. And what we can say to patients at that point, reassuringly, based again on statistics, is that a heartbeat at 6 to 7 weeks gives you a 90% chance of a baby in your arms another 8 months on. I generally also do a scan at 8 weeks and 10 weeks, unless they are going off to see an obstetrician before then. But mostly, patients come back to me. We watch them through that time. We're available on the phone to the nurses if there's any complications, any slight bleeding or pain, we're there to hold their hands because they need their hands held. We understand that. And we watch them all the way through to 10 weeks, at which point generally we hand them on either to their obstetrician or back to the GP to refer them on to the public hospital. So that follow-up care, in my view, is an important part of an IVF clinic's management of patients. It's a caring approach which helps women get through that stage. Because there is some evidence. It's actually old evidence now, it's probably 20 years old, but that women who have had recurrent miscarriage and have tender loving care, as I've just described, have a 5 to 10% better pregnancy outcome than those who are left on their own. So it really is an important part of the treatment process.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey podcast from the navigation menu.